Hello everybody, I hope you are having a wonderful day. Welcome back to the Tales channel and welcome to another one of my DM diaries where I, as the Dungeon Master, reflect on the previous 2 episodes. If you haven't checked out the episodes, they're about an hour and a half apiece, so check those out, come back to this video, and it will make a lot more sense. So, also another thing is I am testing out a brand new microphone, as you could probably see right here, and I'm hoping that the audio quality will go substantially up, but let me know in the comments down below how it goes. The party, after losing Ganok and the Scorpion Farm, were pretty low on morale. They wanted to continue their trek, but Zalim, knowing that there's a lot of trouble still ahead, they went to the nearest town, this village called Briargale. And Briargale is a very, simple, a very quiet town, so there's not really much around. You saw them, talk amongst themselves about, how to act as a party, and then eventually they decided to rest in the tavern, where they learned that the person who bought the last of the ointment to heal Etan's wounds is Matt's new character, known as William Greymane, or Ganuk. And I think it's, I talked about Matt before this, and he essentially wanted to keep the same character and not want to worry about the, developing something completely brand new within a week. He loved all of the backstory stuff that he incorporated in Ganok's story and didn't really expect to go down so quick. So Ganok has a brother now that has similar goals. And, sometimes it happens where players don't expect their untimely deaths, so they eventually just make a sibling or a twin or maybe a good friend of theirs, that sort of thing. And that's kind of what happened with Matt's new character. However, there's a few of the quirks have been changed, which seems fitting, to say the least. After resting in Briargale, the party decided to go to Niel, look for more work, and the party ended up visiting the House of Samson, the leaders of this region. And with Zalim in tow, they walked up to the front doors. They were let in, and then they met the Ustabi family, which are a bunch of high nobles that essentially run the entire city. Sonia is the eldest sister of the Ustabi family, and Sonia is a lot more of the economic trading, stock markets, fantasy stock markets, I guess that's the way to explain it. When Sonia entered, she kind of beriddled the party because she knows that these are not the first adventurers that he decided to team up with. And Zalim has this long history of failing in government jobs and whatnot. And the party, oddly enough, is very defensive about Zalim. They treat him a lot nicer than his siblings do. He's used to it, but he is, not expecting much. And then the party met Arif Ustabi, who is Zalim's father, the head of the House of Samson, who gives them a job. And that job is to travel to the other side of the western split, where past Sofafum into the Frozen Fire Mountains, and there deal with a mysterious threat that the House of Samson isn't really aware of, and they believe that it has something to do with an artifact, which may or may not come into play. And yeah, it's another adventure for our young adventuring party. So after finishing their business in the Samson house, they go back to District 1, which is the more middle class tavern market district. And then they decide to go shopping for a little bit, where they met Sirio, who is the eccentric bard magic shop dealer, where the way I imagined him is he is a bard that essentially has turned his own shop into this sort of one-man band-esque concert. So he can literally play a few keys and all of a sudden like a catalog, or I guess the best way to describe it is like one of those diner jukeboxes where you press a few keys and then all of a sudden the song comes to you. It's like that, but it is with magic items. Well, the more non-fragile items. The party finishes up their shopping, and that was pretty much the end of the session. And thinking about it now, it's a lot more chill than the previous session. I knew that I expected that this session would be a little bit more chill because, one, they're in a city now. There's no threats of danger, at least not for the moment. And I think as a DM, it's important to have a few sessions where the players have some time to reflect. I mean, yeah, they had the combat with the jackals, this Knoll sand pirate band, but it was a lot, it wasn't really something that will cause them that much trouble. Nothing compared to a Tenhei and the troll farm. So, I wanted it to be a little bit more chill, specifically, and there comes a time when traveling from one place to another gets a little bit redundant, especially with all the fighting, all of the maps and landscapes, everything being the same. It's kind of good to mix things up from time to time, which is essentially what happened. And then they had a chill shopping episode. I mean, the party doesn't have much gold, however, they did want to look around and essentially window shop, basically, which is fun because I didn't really had this experience last campaign, because last campaign, when for the 5 stars, we had essentially 3 characters that didn't really care about money, and then the person that did care about money didn't really buy anything besides something aesthetically pleasing. Sorry, Maddie, if you're listening to this. But, it was good. It was good. It's still shopping time. So, this time I'm doing, this time I did gold a little bit differently. Instead of, having me do a flat gold count, I essentially let the party decide how to split the gold amongst themselves. And I think learning from that, it's better to have a player do it, because anything that the player has to do makes it more interactive, And anything that the player does, the DM does not have to worry about. So there's a good tip right there. And it's a win-win. So, you know, I was expecting or kind of hoping for a little bit more, how do you say, just a little bit more of standoffish hostility from the party towards Etan, because Etan was their leader, and you know, Etan got one of their party members killed, and I was expecting some sort of talk in a change of leadership dynamic. And, you know, maybe, I don't know, Vrex doesn't like the way Etan is leading because he got one of them killed, which is very valid. Maybe Kate doesn't want to listen to whatever Etan says. You know, something a little bit more standoffish, which I get, you know, because, you know, we're friends in real life. I think maybe they're just being passive aggressive about it. That could be one thing. I don't know. I'll have to talk to Maddie, who's going to be in our next Tales episode, or Telltales episode. I don't know. In terms of the sessions, this was definitely a lot more in the low end, but I think it went pretty well. Kind of more in the standard-esque. I'm really proud of myself for finally communicating the whole Zaleem Ustabi. Sorry, there's a gnat. I'm very proud of myself for finally communicating to them the Ustabi household kind of sect, because I think especially in times like these, when it shows that family in this culture where family is extremely important, and Zaleem just wants to exist, honestly. That's what I like about him. And then when he's like, oh, well, I don't want you to spend any more money, I can just go back home and sleep and then come back, and the party was willing to let him join them, at least for the night. You know, Zaleem's a lot more down to earth than the rest of his family, if you can't tell already. So I think that the party trusting Zaleem, and for the record, I hope that I don't do this self-fulfilling prophecy thing, but Zaleem is not meant to be a combat NPC, and he is also not meant to be a DMPC. So when the adventure starts, or the whole, you know, board quest where they want to go do some sort of mission, I think that Zaleem will still be a part of it, you know, kind of like that recurring NPC that you report to in a video game, but more in the sense of they are just kind of there to check in on the party and not actually participate. When they start trekking to the northwest in the Frozen Fire Mountains, Zaleem will definitely be in combat. However, he's going to just listen to whatever the party says. And hopefully, you know, this is the first time I've ever had it's not a DMPC, a NPC companion in the party, and you know, he is in for the ride, so hopefully things go well and I don't just accidentally kill him. So that's sort of my thought processes going into the next episode. So anyways, thank you so much for listening to this episode of DM Diaries. Like I said, we post this every single week, with Telltales being on Sunday, and we stream our game every single Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Replays are up every Wednesday and Thursday on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcast, and Stitcher. So be sure to check those out if you haven't already. My name is Francis, and I will see you in the next episode. So bye, guys.